Okay, we are on. I want to show people you've got this first part completely done. This is the part with the new window, and I love the little trim you picked to put under it.
And one of these days, when I'm doing this, because I've got a couple of more pieces I have to make and paint and everything, if you're around, I'll show them how I make them.
Yes.
What I make it out of is Dollar Tree Halloween decorations.
Yes,
so
yes.
Take them and
They're really cool.
cut
and
the,
I love.
Cut the stock part off I don't need, and then I spray paint.
Till I came down here, I had forgotten you did this steel side here.
Oh yeah.
And I love the way you trimmed that to keep the water out. That's awesome.
Well, it's not even to keep the water out. It doesn't just keep the water out, it also keeps you from seeing it.
Yeah, it does. It makes it more of an optical
and when
illusion.
I put the bottom board on,
Yep.
I'm not going to put a board on the tin.
No, you're just going to paint it.
I'm going to paint it to that line.
Yep. That'll be awesome.
Poe folks have Poe ways.
Oh no, it works though. It works so well.
There's your ass shot there.
Oh, should I take an ass shot? I really wasn't doing that, but that's okay.
Well, it's not your fault. I'm constantly got my ass in the air, not unlike a bamboo posturing.
Okay, going away for now.
Okay, in case you didn't know, you have to eat grasshoppers. Way to do it is you catch them and you take hold of their little head and you pull like so. Watch, it won't work this time. I never have any trouble.
Yeah.
And see, all the guts come out.
And that is
and then you have good clean meat. So
it's not only clean meat, but it's kosher.
Yeah, it's kosher. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you have good clean meat. All the guts and all the bacteria and stuff that are dangerous in a grasshopper are gone when you do that. Very easy to do. Then you can either skewer them and roast them over a fire or throw them in a frying pan with some oil.
And no, we don't eat grasshoppers, but that's how you do it.
But that's how you do it, in case you didn't know. Okay. And I did that because it's on the side of the building. You know, why did you kill it if it wasn't doing anything? Because grasshoppers do this.
Yes.
To your plants. And just a few of them make a big mess.
Yep.
So you get rid of them when you can.
So last time we saw you...
Okay, so last time we saw you, we were still working on this. I put on... Lynn was gone, and I was working. So, let's see. Okay, so I put on this trim board. I'm putting this trim board all the way across the bottom. Why am I doing that? Because this siding, which we put on the building 30-something years ago, is weak on the bottom because it gets water damage and stuff. So I can't afford to put all new siding on, and the rest of the siding is in good shape.
Right.
So where it's bad, I'm covering it, caulking it, fixing it, redoing it. So these are, okay, so these are expensive. These are pressure treated 1x8s. So they're not going to rot, at least not in what's left of our lifetime.
Right.
All right. So they're expensive. They're $12 a piece. Guess what? They're a lot cheaper than siding.
Right.
And I don't need siding.
No.
But I do need a good strong edge on the bottom. I'm caulking the top thing, putting a caulk bead there so that any water that comes over, instead of going behind the board and doing even more damage to the old siding, should wash right off.
Right.
Over here we had a differential because we have the doorway here, and that's the door I use to crawl under the house.
Right.
To work on the shit I don't want to have to work on.
Right.
But that I always do. So I had to cut out. So I took a little piece of filigree stuff that I had around, and I just
That was from the rocker, actually.
From the rocker, yeah. And just stuck that on there. Okay. And so this part that I metal shod, because it was seriously weakened and damaged, that I metal shod, so now we have a perfect closed system there. I just painted it to match.
Right.
And you say, well, I can tell. In 10 minutes from across the yard, most people are not going to come over and look at it like that. Most people will not notice. And I don't give a shit, because I'm not planning on selling the house.
Well, then you did a lot of work up there, too.
I did all kinds of work up here. I scraped and painted. The place I did the most actual reconfiguration.
This is the new window, by the way.
Yeah.
Looks gorgeous.
And not that this needs to be done, but this is the size chunks we're getting of paint that I'm scraping off.
Yeah, scraping off.
Okay. If you look up, you might need to be over where I am.
Maybe.
Okay. if you look up, you can see I put a piece of tin there on the end, a piece of the steel from the roof. I
Right.
cut it to fit there to cover up a whole Michigasa mess. Okay? And then I took, there was a missing piece of the eave board, the soffit board, because the renters tore it off because it was in the way of the roofing. I don't fucking know. At any rate, so I took a piece of the L-shaped or V-shaped channel that they had left over from doing the roof.
Oh, I see.
Edging, and I stuck it over the hole. Before I did that, and this would have been something to show you guys, because talk about a hack.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a great big hole. Look over at me so I could talk with my hands.
Yes.
That don't get nasty. I had a great big hole this big. The gynecologist was like, why? But anyway, well, I had a great big hole. They had made a great big hole up there this big that went the full length of the outside eave.
Oh,
okay?
great.
So, great place for squirrels and birds and
Right.
mice and rats, but mostly a great place for wind to get in and push the roof off.
Right.
Okay, so what I did was I wanted to insulate it and close it up tight before I put the steel on so that it's just tight. It's airtight
Right.
now. Okay, so what did I do? I got some old plastic bottles that I've been saving from your creamer, actually.
Right, right.
And stuck a couple of them in there. Then I foamed
Oh.
all around them so that I got the whole area closed up. And then I foamed in front of them so I have a solid block. And before it could harden, I stuck that on there
And
so that
screwed
I
it
have
on.
a solid square piece of foam.
And you used the bottles so you didn't have to use as much foam.
So I didn't use as much foam.
Right.
It saves you a ton of foam.
Right.
And it makes good insulation. Why? Because it's a dead air space.
Right.
If you've got the jar closed off, it's a dead air space. So you now, and if you encase it in styrofoam on top of that, it's a great insulation. It's great to keep air out. No air's going in there anytime soon.
That is awesome.
So
and I didn't even
had to
see
do
that until
all
I
of
got
that.
up there.
Well, and that's the thing about painting. I hate painting.
Yeah.
But when you paint, you can cover up all those little things. Like that piece of metal, I painted the part of it that was on my green trim board. I painted
Green. Right. I saw that.
Okay, the piece that I put down here where the siding is gray, I painted it gray. Down there where I needed it to match the gray and the red, I just painted.
Right. Gray and red.
And it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So, there you go. And now I have to crawl up here and do a bunch of work.
Yeah, because you've gone
Okay,
to this window.
Oh, I should talk about this too. Okay, so see the scaffolding system? It's big, it's unwieldy, it's impossible for one person to do. My son, the genius, when he and my wife picked this out for me and brought it for my birthday and brought it to me with all the, he put this in. This would be 3 times as sketchy, but my son put this piece in.
This support piece in the
The
bottom.
support piece in. He made a bunch, and he made a bunch of pieces for it. See where the legs are?
Yeah.
Okay, because of the flower bed, how the hell would I get this close enough to use it?
With wheels,
Well, I got
especially.
it close enough by taking the wheels off the back and setting them in these cup things that my son made for that purpose. Okay, so, but the way we're having to do it, because Meyer got sick, and he's getting better now, but he's got more trouble than Mommy needs her goddamn stupid ass scaffolding
Moved.
moved. So Lynn has to help me do it.
It's okay.
And the only way I could think of to do it, and talk about quite the thing, is you have to take these off.
The outriggers, yeah.
You take the outriggers off, you put them to the side. You lay the, you take
Well,
these
you take
off.
these off because
You
these
have to
come
take
out.
the platforms off.
There's 2.
Both the platforms off. And then we lay it down
Yep.
very carefully. We start on the side, so if we have to drop it, it
And we
doesn't
walk it
fall
down.
on anyone.
Because
But
it's
then
heavy.
we get in front of it. When we get down, we walk it down.
Right.
Then we get it walked down. We drag it over to the place we're going to set it up next.
Right.
And then walk it up, put the
outriggers back on. The platforms back on.
And then put the platforms back in. It's a huge, gigondous pain in the ass.
Yes.
And my wife keeps saying, would it be easier to use a ladder? You see my knees? They are gone.
Yeah.
Okay? This way I can put everything I need, because here's what I have to do. I'm having to screw the eaves and soffits back on, occasionally do work with steel or wood.
And you're scraping.
And I have to scrape it and caulk it.
Yeah.
And paint it.
All those tools.
Every single time, okay, and I would have to do 1 2-foot section and then move 1 2-foot section and then move 1 2-foot section up and down, up and down. This way it's going very slowly. I have been painting for 2 days. This is all I have fucking gotten
She
done.
says 2 days. She's done like maybe 3 or 4 hours at the longest each of those days. And
now I just sound lazy.
No. And in that time, she's done all that repair work, all of the scraping, all of the painting, and she's up past here. I mean, a little bit past where that is.
Okay, so, but here's the thing. So the scaffolding is saving me a world of time.
Yeah.
It is. But you can have a simpler scaffolding platform, and you can build your own.
Yeah.
So there's that. My dad used to build his own. He used to go and buy a bunch of cheap-ass 2x4s, and he would slap them together and then make platforms out of 2x12s on top of it, walk on it, and then when he had to move it, he would tear the whole fucking thing down and move it to where it had to be moved. And but we were doing 4 stories up at one point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. But he built it in place.
Yeah. And then he ended up using all of that wood.
In Japan, in China, and in Asia, they make scaffolding out of bamboo, out of timber bamboo.
Right.
And they make it 5, 6 stories tall.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's crazy. A lot sketchier than this. This is as sketchy as I want to do, people.
And she's ended up putting this this strap.
So she tie-down strap. I'm using a tie-down strap because I don't want to use the rail system because it's right in my way. And because this is an indoor scaffolding system, not an outdoor scaffolding system, they didn't make the plywood decks out of waterproof plywood.
No.
They're not weatherproof plywood. They're not marine plywood. They're fucking coming apart.
Right.
And it hasn't been in the rain.
No.
I've had it in the car shed the entire time. It's never been directly rained on. That's just from moisture that gets in the carport.
Yeah.
Because I've covered it this whole time. See, because I just take a bungee and stick it around there and make its own roof. But, yeah. But it's like, yeah, and my old crippled knees, up and down this 2 or 3 times a day, that's bad enough. I don't want to go up and down the ladder 40 times to do the same
Well, and when
amount.
I'm here, I can hand her things.
Well, and I could do most of this, I could do with an extension on my roller. Putting out the top 4 foot.
No.
This is extremely tall. Why is this extremely tall? Because this house used to have 10-foot ceilings.
Yes.
This is an old, old house. And it used to have 10-foot ceilings. So...
Yeah, and they dropped them inside, and there's multiple attics and...
Oh, yeah, there's 2 attics.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 attics.
Not that they're accessible at all, but...
No. Well, the one is so short, there's no way you could crawl through it. Well, you could crawl through it.
On your belly.
Well, I've done that kind of shit
I know,
before.
I know.
I don't want to do it.
No.
Ron did it when he put in that one electrical thing for
I
us.
know, God love him.
Watch out, watch out!
Watch out, you've got coffee spilling.
No,
Okay.
I'm not worried about that. There was a fucking piece of wood up there that I forgot I put up there.
It's okay, it didn't hit me. Okay.
Don't hit your partner while you're doing this shit.
Then they'll stop running things back and forth
Then
for
they'll
you.
stop working for you, especially when they have a concussion. They'll be all bitchy. I have a concussion. I can't help you. But that's a hell of an excuse. I gave you a concussion with that block of wood. Yeah, that could have done some damage. Look at that shit.
It's a little pointy.
I forgot I threw it up there. I'm throwing it up there again because I need it.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
So sorry.
We'll come back when you've done something else.
Okay.
Okay, Selena's working above my head here, and she's told me, given me permission to give you a couple of tips on some hacks she's taught me over the years while we were painting, things she's discovered, because the part that I'm painting, which I'll show you in a minute, I've done as far as I can do today, and I'm putting away my tools. So I'm going to show you. First of all, what did we use? Well, not promoting a brand here, but we get this Simply Smooth coffee from Folgers, plastic container, plastic lid, has a neat grip. We use these to put paint in, to paint from, instead of putting it all back in the bucket.
And trying to carry a whole bucket.
Or trying to carry a whole bucket, right. It can be really hard. Plus, it seals tightly because it's plastic.
If it seals tightly for short periods of time, you do not want to leave paint in it for weeks.
Did you hear that? You don't want to leave paint in it for weeks, but like overnight or for a few hours.
The next 2 or 3 days.
She's saying great. Even 2 or 3 days is going to be great. Okay? So I'm going to take the paint from the roller pan and put it in here, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with the brushes and the roller. Okay, first, what to do with the roller. Well, these things are notoriously hard to clean out. I'm sure many of you say, oh, I can do it. And we have done it. Paint in the rear, and you waste a lot of paint.
And it hardens up, and you wind up not being able to paint with it.
There you go. It hardens and becomes hard to use, okay? Yeah. So, what we use is this real fancy thing, the plastic shopping bag, right? And we'll put the roller down inside the bag and tie it really tightly. This bag will be thrown away tomorrow, or whenever I pull that out again. Then we put it inside 2 more bags. Okay? Now today I was able to save the second and third bag and the one.
You're saving the roller.
And I'm saving the roller.
Saving all the paint that's stuck in the roller.
Exactly. So what she's saying is that not only are you saving the roller, but the paint that's stuck in this roller will be good to use tomorrow.
Because otherwise you got to start from scratch, and the new roller sucks up a whole new layer of paint.
And then I always put it in 3 because why not? Right?
Well, because they're freaking shopping bags.
Yes.
Okay, I want to show them the other thing I do. Okay, so when I'm painting 3 different colors.
Hang on just a second. Let me turn on to you. Give me a second.
That's okay.
No, I'm actually focused on me, so let me turn the camera.
You're focused on you? What
yes.
kind of day is this?
Yeah, I know, really?
Okay, so I keep Walmart bags in between colors. Okay, I don't want to have to wash my brush out.
Yeah.
Again, a waste of paint.
Right.
And what's the point? But if they sit for any length of time,
they harden.
Paint starts drying up in them, makes them hard to use. So what I do is, when I get done, I have a bag for each one of them. I put them in a plastic bag, wrap them up like that, put them to the side, and then I have them again when I need them.
Right, and we clean them out every evening.
We clean them out every evening, but during the day, I don't stop everything.
And clean your brushes.
Get cleaned good.
I'm sorry, I did my best. Okay.
But at any rate, that's what I do. So that keeps them from stiffening them up, and it keeps the paint from getting shitty, and it allows me to keep working without stopping constantly.
Good. And that was the other thing I was going to show them, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going away. Okay, and this is what I'm doing that I said I just finished. I'm painting this red on the bottom because no ladders involved. And 2 little hacks about this. First of all these plants, right? You don't want the paint all over them. That's a very lightweight piece of board that Selena provided me that I put along the ground and lay the plants out of the way. This latex paint dries really fast, so by the time I'm ready to move to the next section, it's dry and it doesn't get on the plants, so it's kind of cool. And I'm not worrying about, because I'm painting up underneath the siding, on the old siding and everything under there to make sure it's well protected. I'm not worried about getting red on there because remember, she's putting this red trim on here. Now, another hack she taught me, which is so cool, is before you put the trim up, every piece of trim that has been put on this house over the years, from the very beginning, we paint the boards before they go up. We paint the good side, we paint both ends, and both edges, because, and the only thing you have to paint when you put up there is if you have to cut the board, the cut edge, of course, then has to be painted, right? And that's it. Makes it so much easier, and then you don't have getting red on white, white on red, and blah, blah, blah. You get enough of that as it is. She's doing some of that up there because that's old trim she's repainting. So she's got to worry about not getting red on green and green on red and blah, 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 blah. Yay, all day long.
My favorite.
So much, well, yeah. And all that scraping was your favorite too. I know you love that. Oh, I see a lot of holes you filled today. And caulk. I see all the caulk work up there.